Good morning, everybody. It is the day after I started this next Mary's Mini. It's day 2. I said I was going to post on Wednesday, but I just felt like talking this morning, so here I am. I'm so tired. I woke up about 2 o'clock in the morning, could not go back to sleep, and then finally fell back to sleep and did not want to get up. My eyes are droopy. Well, they're droopy all the time. Y'all catch me in the mornings. I look like a different person when I talk to you in the afternoons. I need to do that every now and then. But one of my viewers said that she really likes to get dressed in the morning and get things together and hang out with me and listen to me. So that's why I do it in the mornings. That's why I always have. Now, what I want to talk about today, it has to do with a lot of the viewers here on this particular channel and in the Facebook Mary's Minis group. A lot of the people are new. Whole lot of people are new. When I posted in the Facebook group yesterday, and made a comment about, you know, what one thing are you doing to prepare to be, you know, make sure that this is a successful run. I forgot what it was that I had said, but several people responded and said this was their first mini. And so when you're coming, let me tell you, there's a real big difference between someone who's been plant-based for a while and someone who is starting a Mary's Mini for the first time off a standard American diet, a SAD diet. Big difference between the two. And so, you know, we all know that if you're going on a mini, even though you've been plant-based, like for me, my reasonings behind this and what's going to happen with me, you know, as I do these periodically now, not in a row like I had been, but is to help reset my taste buds. Boy, that one's getting rough, but I'm working on it. Yesterday was a pretty good day. It was more good than it wasn't. And so it's you know, that pleasure trap is real. And so that's one thing that I'm hoping to accomplish really hard with this particular mini, is to get my brain set back, try to get back into the stage 5 of the the pleasure trap. And so I'm going to try real hard to do that. Plus, you know, it helps with the weight loss, because I lost a lot of weight at the beginning. I was almost 300 pounds. I lost a lot of weight at the beginning, and then that weight slows down. Then you really have to work on it. And so, you know, if you only have about 20 or 30 pounds to go, you do a few rounds of Mary's Mini or one round and then go on whole food plant-based, you'll lose that 20 pounds in no time. You know, if that's all you have and you're coming directly off a standard American diet. But if you have been plant-based for a while, the weight loss slows down, especially if you have issues, you know, like thyroid, metabolism, and if you ever, you know, have to take certain medicines and things like that. You know, it can be a struggle, and it is a struggle, but there's a difference. So that's a person who's been plant-based for a while. The person who starts a Mary's Mini, and Mary's Mini is a great tool actually, who starts a Mary's Mini, and is coming directly off a standard American diet, let me tell you what's about to start happening. Especially with that dairy. Dairy does some crazy stuff. Dairy's bad. But okay, you're about to do a Mary's Mini, so obviously no dairy, none of that stuff that you've been having, right? Your gut starts to change. And that's probably the most important thing that happens. You know, it's all kinds of other things. You know, yeah, you're depriving yourself, and as far as all of those wild, you know, taste, the salt, sugar, and oil that you've been accustomed to, trying to reset your taste buds if you can to start appreciating whole foods again and that sort of thing. But your gut changes. by the end of that 10 days, you will have a fairly different environment down there. And it all starts there. Everything starts there in the gut. Hippocrates, someone said that long time ago. Everything, all disease starts in the gut. Yeah. So if you have an intestinal microbiome that that has this environment on living foods, on plants, right? Rather than a bunch of dead foods, the animals and the protein from animals and the dairy and all that kind of stuff, the environment is going to change. Second thing that's going to start happening or stop happening, your liver is not going to produce that IGF-1 in the quantities that it had been. Because when a person eats a standard American diet, that person is consuming animal protein 3, 4, or 5 times a day. So you have that spike in the production of the IGF-1, which is a cancer producer and cancer, it helps the cancers to grow. And so if you go on a Mary's Mini and you stop eating animal products, for that 10 days, your liver will have either slowed down the production of or stopped producing IGF-1. It's called insulin-like growth factor. And that's what causes a lot of cancers, especially your hormonal type cancers, the breast cancer, the prostate cancer, and the ovarian cancer. Those 3. And that's what a lot of the studies have shown, the improvements in those, particularly those 3. But when you create an environment in your whole body, you're creating an environment that is hostile to some diseases. With all the antioxidants that you have going around in your body, it helps to fight disease rather than to, make disease occur or feed disease. A good friend of mine, Heather, has a meme out there. She says everything that you eat will do one of 2 things. I think it's something like, she said, you will either fight disease or feed disease. And that makes a lot of sense. So that's the next thing. First of all, your gut biome is going to change. Within that 10 days, yes. Next thing, like I just said, your liver will either stop producing or minimize the production of IGF-1. And that is a big deal. And that's just what's happening physiologically. Another thing, and these are my 3 biggies. So if you don't want to think of anything else, as these 3 things, I've already told you 2. This is the 3rd one. Your inflammation is going to be greatly reduced by the end of that 10 days. And a lot of bad things that happen to our body is a result of inflammation. All of my problems that I was having was due to inflammation. I have a connective tissue issue. They call it a connective tissue disease. That pain that was just all over my body. I lived in pain. I lived in pain. I don't have that kind of pain anymore. Oh my goodness. My joints, if I'd have only known about this 10, 15 years ago, I'd probably still have my real knees. For those of you who are new to my channel, I've had 2 knee replacements. Inflammation. 2 ankle reconstructions. One of my feet, I've had like 3 surgeries on, and then a broken toe. And then my other foot, I've had 1, 2, 3, 4 surgeries on that one. I have a joint type problem anyway because of my RH situation from when I was born. So I have those kinds of problems. If I'd have only known about plant-based eating 10, 15 years ago, that inflammation would not have wreaked such havoc on the issues that I already have. Ooh. You know, I might not have, if I'd have known about this many years ago, like at the age where my daughter is, she's plant-based now, and she eats between a plant-based and a vegan diet. She, you know, her biggest motivating factor right now are her cycles, and you know, I had fibroid tumors, I had endometriosis, you know, I had a full hysterectomy, you know, those sorts of things. She was going down that same path as far as that pain that she would encounter every month. She's told me that this is not happening to her like it was before. And so, you know, if I'd have only known way back then when I was her age, you know, I might not have had some of those problems. Oh my goodness, that endometriosis was crazy. And then that time that I almost went blind with something called pseudotumor cerebri, which had to do with the hypertension of the cerebral fluid that kept building up in my brain. Spinal taps every week for like 2 months. Oh my gosh, it was horrible. If I'd have only known. But here I am, right? Here I am. I started this when I was 57, 56. Well, I started it in 2016, December 1st, 2016, and I'm going to be 60 years old in 2 months. So things have changed for me. And I know that I'm creating an environment in my body to cause health to be a part of my future. You know, I'm not producing that IGF-1, or at least minimally producing it, but definitely not producing much at all. I have a strong gut biome that I'm really, really excited to have, and my inflammation went down with a CRP number. C-reactive protein is what that is. It's a CRP. It was almost 6. It's supposed to be under 3. Mine is under 1 now, and I'm just so happy about that. A little bit of the disfiguration in my hands already started because of the rheumatoid factor, but they've stopped. You know, the joint, you know, disfiguration in my hands, that stopped. So it's not getting worse, which is really, really great. So if there's anything that you want to talk to someone about concerning why, you know, they should try a plant-based diet, and one great way to get into it is through the Mary's Mini. A lot of times people do things to get into a plant-based diet. Some people do a juice cleanse. Some people even fast. Some people do, you know, a raw diet, those sorts of things, all those for limited periods of time, you know, like the Mary's Mini does it for 10 days. You know, so if a person does a Mary's Mini for 10 days, those 3 things that I just talked about, that person will get that kind of benefit in his or her body. And that's a big deal. That's a big deal. So, yeah. So I just felt like getting that off my chest. I woke up thinking about that this morning. All right, guys. Well, y'all have a great day, and I'll probably be back on either Thursday or Friday. Talk to you later. Bye. And my Instant Pot rice is finished. This is how I like it. It's not mushy at all, and it leaves itself some room for me to cook with it. So when I make my rice dishes, I will make dishes where the rice is already cooked from the refrigerator, and it makes food preparation really, really fast. All right, these are going to go in my freezer to go with whatever it is that I prepare for the week. And then I have more that will go in my refrigerator.